What's good, everyone? What's going on? Hopefully, you guys are can hear me and I'm not blowing out anything, of course. But yeah. Welcome to my first actual stream. I'm actually doing this on the low. Yo, no chaser. What's good, man? It's good. Yeah, this is the first stream, man. As you can see the title, it's Humble Beginnings. Audio's good? Good. I'm using a new mixer that I just got. I'm like literally like hours ago. So I'm still figuring out everything. Trust me, I was fighting it. It was a bitch. Let me tell you. But it's good. It's good that the audio is working. So yeah, you can see that the title is pretty much Humble Beginnings. And this is pretty much this is gonna be a chill stream. I'm not gonna take up too much of everybody's time, whoever decides to pop up or whatever, because quite frankly, I gotta figure out why things are just messing up on my end. I don't know if you guys have seen things. Is your visuals good? Because for some reason I'm having like lag issues or whatever. It's crazy. Okay. So no chaser, where you coming from? Whose channel you bouncing from? I know it must have been weird when you just see my name pop up. Visuals good? All right. So it's just on my end then. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm doing this a little bit on the low, a little on the slide side, because quite frankly, just kind of start out pretty much figuring it all out. So the reason why I'm doing the humble beginnings, as it were, is because quite frankly, I'm putting myself a little bit more out there, but also in the fact that I should have been doing this a long time ago. And I know for those you already know who the simp god. Yeah, I know. I saw what was going on back when I was looking at the fatty channel, so I got an idea what you were talking about. It's crazy. It's crazy, and I know it's probably more out there. So the reason why I was getting into this is because, like I said, I'm putting myself out a little bit more out there, but I'm also about building it off from scratch. And as much as you know me in particular spaces, I know that as I build up on this channel, there's going to be a lot of people that don't know anything about me, and that's cool. That's kind of the demographic I'm kind of looking for as well. And hopefully over time, we're going to be able to build something that's going to be really, really good. And maybe we can even bring in more or even new people to the space or just have different perspectives of things that's going on. So the premise of the actual channel, you already know my thing. No, I'm actually not going to be talking about cybersecurity because I didn't get as far as I figured I would really in it. And there are so many people who actually do cybersecurity channels, and I mean, they're gods and goddesses out there that are on it. So it's not really my strong suit. To be honest with you, like I've met so many people who are really good at that job. Like they blow a lot of people away. Um, for me in particular, like my thing has always been observation. Even working in those particular type of companies and such, what I wind up doing is really want, and I want to challenge those things. Are the things that you're saying really your beliefs, or are you just regurgitating other things that people have said to you and you're taking it as facts? Because you've seen a lot of the conversation that we've had in different parts of the space. A lot of people have a lot of things that they have to say, but quite frankly, I don't know if it's really their points of views. So another thing about this channel is that while I have my own opinions about having this channel and where exactly we're going, I want to start on a very foundational basis of saying that it ain't just about me. Honestly, as we build people that's going to be in the space, I want it to be something that we all kind of share in. So I don't know exactly where exactly the channel is going to go, and I'm hoping that people who are going to show up is actually going to help me push in those areas as well, because YouTube is vast. It's huge, And I know if you get stuck in a particular sector, that's exactly what you get thrown into. And that's not exactly what I like. You've seen a lot of the conversations that I've been in. I'm not really one for the type of conversations that show up in the space, especially when you talk about like the Sim Gods channel, which is funny. But I want to bring in a lot of different stuff because, quite frankly, we all begin to sound too much the same if you hang out in the same areas, and I want something a little different from that. So far, it's pretty much my grievance in that. Was everything good over in the Simp Guys channel? Is he retaliating up for anything he's heard so far? Because right now it's been wild. That's true. That's true. And I mean, you know me. You know how I hang out with them over at Uncle Tom's. But like I said, you get a lot of people, and thank goodness that you have a channel like his that's very diverse because not many people have that. And like I said, I don't want to get caught up in those areas because I've also seen in those spaces a lot as well. So I want to bounce from that. But here's the thing: I'm starting out this channel pretty much bare bones. I could use a lot of the programs that a lot of people use, but the truth of the matter is that I want to make it slow because I want it to be as authentic as possible, and I want to have natural growth. To be honest with you, I don't want to just siphon all the people that already hang out in areas where they have nothing but the effery, and then they come over to here and they thinking that's exactly what you're gonna get, and they might be a little disappointed because it's not that I mean, as well, it's not that I cannot engage in it, but then that's exactly what everything always becomes, and that's not really my thing. I can only do but so much of it before I would get easily burnt out on it because I don't thrive off of that. I don't. I like my time. I like my peace also and my quiet. And you don't get a lot of that being in those channels. But besides, you think I want to debate people who want to be idiots all day? That's why I stay off a lot of the other channels that be there. I don't know if you can hear that. But that was damn ambulance trucks that come by because I'm on a busy street. But that's exactly why I stay away from a lot of the channels because you see a lot of the knuckleheads and how they behave in those channels, in those spaces. I mean, the shout outs to the ones who actually, they're very good, orators, or they're very good at they're very decent at their communication. But let's be honest, a lot of people don't, and that's why we like at least some of these spaces because, quite frankly, everybody gets a voice. Not that everybody deserves one, but everybody does get a voice, and I like that kind of freedom that at least people have been given in the space. But boy, is there a lot of ignorance? Sure is. So no chaser. If you were pretty much starting out on someone's channel, uh, what exactly are the things that you would like to see personally? Because I mean, obviously, going around and seeing all the debauchery is it's a dime a dozen. Anyone can go about seeing that. But if you had something that you particularly wanted to see develop, what would that be? And I mean, I got a vision board for this channel. I'd be very interested to know how it's gonna all turn out. Music, interesting. What do you mean by like music? Like the conversation that we have on other channels, like people like debating who's the best artist, something like that. Got you. Education. Okay. I I did not see that coming. That's very interesting. Well, what exactly do you follow in terms of education? Oh man, that's wild. That's gonna be take me so long to get a lot of this stuff together. I'm actually not as good when it comes to cybersecurity as I thought I would be trying to get into it. It's a lot. It really is a lot, and the game keeps changing for a lot of people. It's good money for those who get in, but unfortunately, like it's become so. I mean, you know yourself now. Like it's become so oversaturated. It's hard to. And a lot of people who they're really working on contracts. They're not really um, securing. Like static position. So it's very interesting watching them move around and reading books. Hmm. I'm a little back and forth with that one. Like there are books that I do read, and there are other ones that I just listen to, and it depends on what's really capturing me at the moment. I like the actual physical books itself, so that works out for me. But I already know that I definitely will pick up audiobooks because quite frankly, then that means I can do other things as well. I don't know if I got some ADHD or something, but my mind is always wandering. So that's something I definitely like to pick up on a lot. War movies. I don't see that many war movies these days. War novels. Well, of course. I mean, Tom Clancy is blown up. What comes out these days that Tom Clancy is not touching? Not serious. Like every time Jack Ryan ends, I'm never having enough of it. I want to see the next one. Oh, did you look at the new what's this? Rider? Did you see the new one that's out right now? I forget the actor. I forget the actor's name. From Creed. Reacher, that's what I meant. I don't know why I said Reacher. Yeah. I still gotta see the most latest episode that came out. But so far, I mean, you're doing a damn good job. I didn't think it would keep up. The first season I kinda like. Do you know which one from Creed? I could try to nail down which one it is. Okay. Ah, I think I know which movie you're talking about now. That's the one where basically he goes on a rampage pretty much on his own, right? He's like special forces or whatever. He lost his wife. He was cold in that one. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I forgot what was the name of that one. Without remorse. That's what it was. Yeah, that was actually a pretty good one. It was better than I expected. I'll say that much. He's got a few. He's got a few things that are actually pretty out there. I never saw Fahrenheit, but a lot of people swear by that was a good one. Of course, Splinter Cell, Rainbow Six. Like, come on. Of course, those are my games. Those are my games real early. I used to do it up, especially Rainbow Six. I love Rainbow Six when it first was coming out. It just wasn't the same. But I would lose. I would lose squad members. Whew. Playing that game on hard was ridiculous. So one of the reasons why I was not able to really stay too long, especially in cybersecurity, is because quite frankly, everybody kept using my skills for what I do basically in asset management, and even now, that's pretty much where I tailor a lot of my skills to. So I don't know. It at the same time, it's like if you don't have a real love for that thing, like if you're not trying to be like an app developer or something, that field is tough. And I said, shout out to those. 'Cause there were some really nice people that I met there. I just hope over time that when we are building this channel, that we really do well and like engagement when it comes to people, um, and really being able to shape the channel. Because I hear the truth of the matter is like the world in YouTube is just so vast that if you're not very careful where you step, you can easily get pulled in the wrong direction. And I'm hoping to stay as neutral until we as a channel figure out where exactly we're going. But until then, I mean, I plan to keep it as authentic as possible. Now, it's figuring out a schedule, man. That's gonna be the hard part because my time is not my own, not always. Actually, while I'm thinking about that, oh, you're gonna make me wonder now. Gotcha. Hey, here's a question. Did you get a notification that I was actually going live? Yeah, I don't know. I really thought YouTube would just like pretty much hide who pretty much don't put out content. I mean, you can see the longest piece of content that I had was like 10 months ago. Might as well just call that 10 years ago. But shout outs to you for actually subscribing. Miss Raven with that. I did not. That's all right. It's all good. That's why we're here now. Yeah, I hope to make a lot of improvements when it comes to this channel in the pipeline. There's a lot of stuff going on, but it all depends on how much we're going to be built. And like I said, I'm trying to think of a way that we're going to be able to help build this channel without actually just walking around and throwing a dumpster fire into everything. That's the hope. Because not for nothing, we see these days that people really come up because or for somebody else. Great. Networking, all good. But let's be honest, if they don't do exactly what the last people did, no one really wants to watch them. And I know the type of channel that I might be trying to pick up, it's going to be a difficult one. I expect a lot of adversity, unless someone comes up with debauchery that they're going to try to pass my way. And I don't mind having spirited debates. You already know that for sure. But it's going to be very difficult, and I accept that. I think the question that people tend to ask is why now, and it's because I was freaking procrastinating like crazy, and also learning. That's what it is. It's not easy, especially when you have people like you have YouTubers that are out there and they love to throw out their yearly. If I had to start this year, which is not it's not practical. It's not. It's easy to say that when you've already built something. For people who are starting off, especially in an oversaturated market, it ain't easy. But I will say the most important thing is consistency. So if you're sticking around to watch it grow, then I appreciate that because I plan on making better videos every time I get on. It's just the hardest thing I think for me that the challenge that I have to get over is the actual curation. Because you I don't know how people come up with content all the time. I think it's easier when you have a particular niche or a particular field of study that you're already in. But for those trying, it gets difficult. And there's some conversation that people they're not ready to hear. They're not ready to hear because either it's not that engaging to them or it's too real. It's too real and they just want the distraction. And I understand that as well. Because when I started this, when I originally started the channel, it's actually in the planning was a little bit more than 10 months ago, but my longest video was 10 months. It was the idea that how I pretty much got to be in the space in the first place. And that was because back when I was working in one of my former employers, is that I was just burning myself out. I was really burning myself out to no end. And what happened was without any reprieve, let's be honest, the market is still changing. A lot of people are still in flux, and I just needed some time to myself. And it was pretty much the mutual with my employer as well. And the question was like, what was I gonna do? And I remember a lot of the conversations that I was having with people all across the board, whether they were someone who was young in their 20s or whether you had people that were sitting over in their 60s. A lot of people just like, I've been here and I've been comfortable and I haven't done anything that I really wanted to do. And I'm just like, damn, like, not for nothing. I've been doing this for a little while and I feel exactly the same way. In fact, I felt kind of stuck at that moment. I didn't want to sit there and think about what was I going to be doing with the rest of my life, right? Being stuck in a position that, quite frankly, time had gone by and I didn't seek out to do the things I wanted to do while I still had time. And that was the really important part. While I still had time. Because quite frankly, I think that the position I was in, they would just compensate me for me to give up on anything else that I was willing to actually try. That's the truth. They really didn't give a damn. And I was saying this a lot to people that I know I worked with at the time is that don't expect the business itself to actually value you. The people within the business will value you. The business itself is four walls. I don't give a damn how much they want to say corporations are people. They're four walls, and they don't have any value for you. So that means you got to find value in yourself, especially if you want to do something different. Because once those people that you do like, when they disappear, it's like, what's next? What's next? So it is what it is, though. But that's why I also get the idea of the market that we're in, where people are like, that 3 years and you have to jump ship because you won't find anything else. I didn't want to believe it at first, but as I got to see it over time, I was like, geez, like it's a wrap. Might as well just make us all contractors in the next 5 years. You already saw it yourself how much AI and freaking these robotics are moving. Let me ask a question. What do you think that employment is going to be like in the future years? Like, do you think that people are still going to be really striving to be working at like brick and mortars, or do you think people are going to be really pushing to be working from home? Like, you think that's going to be like the majority of people? I've got so many ambulances that are coming by. People are hurt tonight. We are so close to Christmas. Y'all can hear that? He's dragging, and I know the streets are not packed. So much for an emergency. Let's see. I'm cutting in and out. Like I said, when I'm looking at my stream, it's bouncing back and forth. I don't know what's going on with it. Because everything else looks good. It's just for some reason, eh. I don't know why. I don't know if it's something on YouTube's end, because everything else I see on YouTube is fine. And not for nothing, I think this is one of the reasons why people use third-party programs like StreamYard. Because I decided I wanted to just connect strictly to YouTube to see what happens. Like I said, I wanna test out all the different methods because, quite frankly, I want to see what it's like to, to have to start off being a disaster. And who knows, it might be something to do with the with people getting on at this time of night. I have no idea. No idea what the heck's going on. I know something was fine at one point and now all of a sudden cutting in and out. No chaser. What is it that you do now? If you don't mind me asking you, without you giving out too much. Well, I'm a nobody, so I don't expect you two to be trying to come for me. I'm nobody. I don't know why my stream will be cutting out for any reason. I haven't done anything remotely to upset anyone yet. I find it weird that a lot of people are pushing for these remote jobs that they don't they don't really exist. There's a lot of them, but it's not as many as people are thinking. And I would look at this, however, I can't get it to work right now. They got a job called the Apple Home Advisor. What the hell is that? I guess it's just tech support from home. Closing. Anyone here familiar with Discord or how Discord works? Yeah, I see it hiccuping already. Something's going on with the stream. I'm not sure what's going on with it. So I think I know what I'm gonna do for that next stream. Because the internet is playing games. Talk. Talk. What the world is that? All my notes all messed up. I swear. else is out right now? I see. I see. Podcast is running a stream. That's what it is. Ah, I can see where people are at. They're probably over at Aaron and Cheeky's show. I know people are jumping on that because that's a new thing right now. And as far as live and trending goes, it doesn't seem like there's much going on for a lot of people, which is surprising being that it's a weekend. Except for that, that looks weird. I mean, unless they're already going out and getting and drinking or catching up with people, yeah, I thought, yeah, it's all possible. That is very much possible because I really can't say much about that. Discuss a few potentials. Channels. So, that's very interesting. I'm thinking about a few things right now, and I want to know what is a lot of the topics that people are really looking at right now, especially over this freaking holiday. You got people talking about MMA. Yep. So I think I know, I think I have a good idea as to what I would implement on the next stream so that we can not go through a lot of the stuff that we're already going through in this one. And I think I can definitely battle that. Got a question. I know the stream is being a little hiccupy, if you want to call it that. But what is it that you guys see me streaming at? Like, am I streaming at like at a 1080 or am I streaming at like 720? Because YouTube caps a certain not a certain amount, and I personally what I know streams versus what I actually see is different. Because if it was giving us me, I'd be freaking 6K. I bet. I bet somehow it's got me capped at like 720. 1080. Ah, I did not expect that. Oh, okay. I was expecting some dog shit streaming from the way everything is burping up. I'll take it though. I will take it. You know what's some of the things that I'm worried about is that I have a lot of ideas how I would like to put things in perspective for the channel, especially a lot of things that I see all over that would look so different. I'm just worried about the moment I do it, I won't be able to handle it because it's just too much going on. Again, It's day one. I'm already looking at just how to build and how we're going to be able to do things, and most of all, how to become consistent over time. Because I don't have it in me to be like every day, especially because my days are just so random as is. I think if I would have did this months ago, I would have found a way to be more consistent earlier on. But being that we're at the end of this year and beginning the next year, I don't know how consistent I can be. I could definitely do something every week, that's for sure. I just wonder if I could do it at a particular time on that day every week. I know I could do once a week, maybe twice a week. But the question is always a matter of that consistency. And I'm having an issue with that right now. I think we'll know more. We'll know more, especially in the beginning of next month, actually. We'll know more. But there's a lot of things, believe it or not, that I really want to implement. The question is, even though, even though we get started out, even though we start putting a lot of things in place, it's how do we drive like-minded people to actually be up in this area? That's going to be very difficult, especially in this content world right now. Because if in the particular space that I particularly run in, it's mainly panels, and I'm just like, ugh. I love having a good conversation with somebody, but it can get wild and get thrown off of topic real quick, or people troll, and I like a little bit of trolling, especially if you're good at it. But people be doing it for the hell of it, and I don't think that everybody's good at it. So I just like I like starting off really small like this because I'm worried about what the expectations for people are if I don't have enough content that's already out so that they can be able to say, well, okay, Wrestler's been like this for a while, so I understand what his content is about versus why don't you do it this way? And that's something that you see on someone else's channel. Like, and there are people who are doing rather well, in that particular space, and they can't even really, speak with a lot of other people because, quite frankly, they're doing too well. And I got to figure out everything going on here as well, because, quite frankly, I was wondering if I was even going to be able to get on. That's what really held me up for a long time, just being able to try to get started. I was like, oh crap. It's like, I don't have sound. I don't know what's going on. But that's what we do, right? We test and we try and we build the plane as we're flying it. And if there's anybody who should learn from that, especially being around in these freaking social media streets, it should be me. That I'm okay with being a crash test dummy, because I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love the growth at the end. I like it being difficult. It's gonna mean so much more later on, especially as we're building up. And I want to remember everybody was there because, quite frankly, we're gonna be doing it together. Just like I want people's takes on what they think would be a good way to actually make things better, because everybody's looking at something a little bit different. So I know people will definitely have ideals that I don't, and we'll be looking at a way to make those things happen. I think the perspective of me actually trying to build a channel with not just what I want in mind, but also how everybody looks at something, and then we pull those things together to try to make that thing happen, I think is very important, because I don't think a lot of people move that way. They either let the audience dictate where they're going, or they fight their base, and it just gets stuck. It depends on what they really want. Not fire trucks. Can't say if you guys hear that, but jeez, it is the holiday. there's not even a lot of houses I would say that's around. It's mainly like condos and buildings. So I know there should not be a lot of like the turkey fires or the freaking like what's going on here? We are 2 days from Christmas. Less than that, actually. The hell is wrong with people? Good, good. Cause that means my compressors are working. Something is still going right. Something is still happening. Good. It's nice to know that my compressors are working. Cause it gets loud. And I'm like, oh man, people are gonna hear that. It's good to know that my compressors are working for sure. I would love to put up a lot of stuff that we can have a lot of participation. Because quite frankly, I am not an educator. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let you get back to it, back to your world. I have no interest in putting myself up here for a long time, especially because I need to figure out a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I don't have really any content or whatever, and I still gotta be more aware of what goes on in like fair use laws and all kinds of stuff like that as I piece together a lot of my content and what's going to be happening here for the future. Like I said, just wanted a quick introduction as to who I was, what I was doing for a time. It still will be that as we grow, but there will be a little bit more in the future for what's going on here. And of course, I will start actually not reaching out, but I will make it more known that I am starting a channel for a lot of people. But I want to start off a little slow so that we can at least build up a little bit of a base, a little bit of an understanding as to what we're doing in the future. So therefore, we don't get hijacked. That's very important. Outside of that, I will start off by just saying that I hope you guys stay safe. I want you to enjoy your time, especially if you have family and friends that you're going to see over the holiday weekend. Stay authentic, stay true, and of course, stay opinionated. I'll see you on the next one.